Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Dr. Kwabena Bempah Tandoh, has described the double-track system as a life-saving policy that prevented thousands of students from being denied access to secondary education. He's been responding to recent comments by Education Minister Haruna Iddrisu, who argued that the system compromised quality. Dr. KB Tandoh joins me in studio for more on this. Dr. Tandoh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
To our desk, and it's great to see you in person.
It's good to see you.
We've had conversations on the phone.
Absolutely.
And sometime. But how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, and I hope you're also doing well.
Now, what's really your problem if the current education minister realizes that a policy that was introduced in the SWAL administration has issues? Why is that an issue for you?
I'm a teacher by training. And so questions are very important.
Right.
And you begin your question by saying, what's my problem? I should be asking, what is everybody's problem about a double track? I must tell you, before we begin the conversation, we cannot sacrifice the future of Ghanaian children on the altar of political expediency. It is not possible, and we should not do that. Now, let me tell you why anybody who tells you that the double track has issues, especially around performance, has not interrogated the data. I am a big fan of data. I'm a researcher, and I believe in data and evidence. So in order to be able to answer this very, very effectively, I need to give you a quick understanding of where we come from and where we've gotten to. Now, in 2017, after Ghanaians gave His Excellency President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the former president, the mandate, he implemented free senior high school. Now, in implementing free senior high school, it became very clear that people became excited because of the success of the program. And so between 2017 BECE registrations and 2018 BECE registrations, we saw an 11.5% jump in the registrations. Annually, for the past 10 years prior to 2017-2018, we only saw about a 1.5% to 2% jump. So we saw more than a five-fold, six-fold percentage jump in the number of registrations in terms of the annual increments. And so we knew right from that data after BEC registrations that we were going to have so many students who were going to sit for the exam. And then if you do an analysis of the pass rates, then you're going to have a lot more students knocking at the doors of post-junior high school education, be it senior high school or senior high technical schools. Now, at the time in 2018, Ghana only had 684 senior high schools and senior high technical schools. We knew at the time that some 272,000 seniors from that year were going to graduate. But we knew that the number of students who were going to pass the BECE and move on to senior high school, there was going to be an excess of 181,992. And I want to give you to the exact figure. So when we did that, the question became, whose child should stay home? Is it your child or is it my child? Or is it the person who doesn't have money to pay for school that we should let their child stay home? His Excellency, the President at the time, had made a decision that every child will go to school. Now, we knew also at the time that because of the spaces gap and the infrastructure gaps that existed at the time, we needed to at least invest about 1.2 to 1.3 billion Ghana cedis at the time to build. Now, this registration jump came in June of 2018. Schools begin in September of 2018. Even the well-intentioned with all of the resources cannot finish the infrastructure because the analysis showed that we needed some 1,132 new infrastructure across schools in this country. So you could not. So what were we to do? We were to look at innovation. Listen, education is about thinking. It's about solving problems. Education is not about cut-off points. So the decision was made to introduce double track. What is double track? A lot of people don't even know what double track is. Double track is mainly the using of existing infrastructure, using it effectively to allow more students to go to school. Now, the idea of double track was, at the time we introduced it, was that, let's say you have a school like, let me use my hometown school. I have mine senior high school in Gosu.
Okay.
Let's say I have mine senior high school has a capacity of 3,000, 1,000 in Form 1, 1,000 in Form 2, and 1,000 in Form 3. What we were proposing for 400 of the 684 schools was to increase the Form 1 intake to 1,500 so that we can absorb all of those children. But in order to do that, if you send all of them to a half-mile senior high school, they won't fit.
Yes.
So what we did was to split the Form 1s into two. Now, in order to do that, you need to understand planning. In a 12-month cycle, if you change the academic terms to semester, a semester is about 4 months, which means you could technically run 3 semesters per year instead of 2 semesters as we usually know it. So we broke the academic calendar in such a way that it allowed space for 2 cohorts of Form 1 students to attend schools almost interchangeably with the existing Form 2s and Form 3s, allowing all those students to have access. Now, for the layman, let me help you to understand this. You get on a trotro from Medina, and you are going to Accra Tema Station. When the trotro fills up at Medina, let's say it's a 15-passenger trotro. When the trotro fills up for Medina, the trotro moves to Spanner or Tetekwashi roundabout. 5 passengers get off because that is the length of their journey. Does the trotro then go empty, or does it load students from Spanner and then maybe drop them at airport first? Maybe drop those 5 people at airport first, 3 more people get on, they'll load people, and then maybe drop some at Sankara and then keep moving until they get to Tema Station. That 15-passenger trotro, by the end of its journey, may have moved about 28 or 30 people to their destination.
But you also know that with that same scenario, moving from one place to the other, stopping is also going to, cut back, or not cut back, espouse more time in doing that.
No.
So let me ask you this question.
So wait. I don't want you to put that in the minds of people. We are here to educate people.
We're also trying to understand.
It will not take more time because every passenger has their purposed trip.
Rightly so.
Right?
Let me make this scenario using this same trotro example. So I go to the trotro station. I'm going to Medina. There's a straight car from the trotro station to Medina, no stops, okay? Then there's another Medina car that goes by the roadside. You just take it because it doesn't fill up at the station. It has to fill up when people get on and get off, okay? So when I sit in that trotro at the station, I go straight to Medina because all the people on that bus are going to Medina.
But that's because wait,
let me finish.
Wait, because
I'll let you
ahead.
talk.
Go ahead.
Are all going to Medina, and so the time I'm spending to go to Medina, if it is 10 minutes, I'm spending 10 minutes. But if I stand by the roadside, and because the driver has to fill up the vehicle, we'll stop at maybe Spanner, pick up some people there, stop at maybe the University of Ghana, pick up. Definitely, I will spend more than 10 minutes to get to Medina.
Exactly my point. What you are saying is that then you don't need to get on the trotro. You need to charter a taxi and get to your Medina.
No, but there are both trotro scenarios that I'm putting across.
Hold on. What I'm trying to say is that the analysis is that this is a public transportation system that we are going on. So let's get back to the double track. Right. But basically, I was just trying to get you to understand that you can use that existing infrastructure to accommodate more people. Right? It's not about the time, but it's about using that existing infrastructure to accommodate more people. And that's what double track did. Okay. Now, beyond accommodating or giving access to more students, I think that anybody who also makes the decision, not that I think, anybody who makes that assertion that double track impacted negatively on academics has not interrogated the data.
Why? Because
if you take the last 10 years, very, very beautiful. The last 10 years is 2015 to 2024. the way to measure academic performance, at least within our dispensation in Ghana, in senior high schools, is the WASSCE examination.
Right.
Now, when students take the WASSCE examinations, regardless of the type of student that you have, there are 4 subjects that are common to every student: math, English, integrated science, and social studies. So we would know that over the past 10 years, that is what WAEC used to assess performance at each of the cohorts. And fortunately for us, WASSCE is a norm reference.
Right.
It is not a bell curve or a Stay9 reference.
Right.
And so you can compare from one year to another year because of the examination being a norm reference examination.
Right.
So hold on, let me finish.
Dr. Tandoh, within the time frame that we have,
I understand that, but let me at least
briefly,
I get you.
Yes.
But let me at least give you some data. Between 2015 and 2019, if you look at the core subject areas, the performance, even in mathematics, you've had 28% in mathematics. You've had 32% in integrated science. You've had 35% in English. But from 2020, when the first cohort of 3 SHS graduated, as well as since 2021, when those students have all been double-track students, we've not had any core subject below 50%.
But here's a situation where, in that case, those questions were bought. At least we heard from some parents and some of the students that the ministry then acquired questions.
And what is wrong with that?
To prepare the students. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Yes,
but
there's nothing.
Extra preparations to ensure to get them, because parents complained, even if not where you sit, but where I sit. We had several parents complain of contact time.
Thank you for bringing that up. Let me wait.
No,
we are here to
Tandoh,
educate the public.
Dr.
We're not
Tandoh,
here to make assertions. You are talking about contact time. So let me help you.
My question.
Hold on, Mamiesi.
Please, you two hold on.
Let me help you.
I'll allow you to answer.
Sure, go ahead.
So let me ask the question, then you answer.
Sure.
Because of the time frame, so we don't, veer off. We have very little time. So there have been questions about contact hours. Also, the confusion with parents on when the children will go to school and come back. Some of them have had to hire extra help from teachers and all that to help them, because they felt that the advantage of the double track system was inadequate, And the current education minister is saying that there were challenges, even though nobody is questioning that the policy was terrible. You say that the policy helped absorb more students because you couldn't leave those students to sit home. So that problem was solved. But also there were other challenges that came with it. Do you disagree that the system didn't have any challenges at all?
I mean, see, nobody is going to say that any intervention in this world, from the United States to anywhere, is perfect. That's the first thing we need to understand. Every human intervention is going to have challenges. But on the issue of contact time, we need to discuss this academically. When we had the 3-term system, contact time for students was 1,080 hours per academic year. The evidence available is that because of the adjustments we made to length of time and contact time in double track in an academic year moved from 1,080 to 1,134, which means in a 3-year cycle, we added 162 hours to contact time. So the question,
1,080 and 1,000.
1,080, and we moved to 1,134.
Okay.
If you multiply the increase by 3, it is 162 hours per year, per 3-year cycle in terms of contact time. So the argument around contact time falls flat in the face of data analysis.
How are you calculating this contact time? Because if you have 4 months in the previous term and you have 2 tracks of first-year students, are they all having access to that 4 months, or they are splitting the 4 months between those 2-track systems?
I mean, see, this conversation is definitely not, you are pushing me for time, and it's not about this. Maybe you need to come to school.
But we need to understand.
So let me help you to understand. Let me help you to understand. In the 3-term system, students spend about 5 hours a day in front of teachers. In the double track system, with the work we did with teacher unions, NAT, NAGRAT, CCT, and everything else that we did, contact hours per day moves to 7 hours a day. So you need to understand the intricacies of what we did to prolong the amount of time students spent before teachers. You are an adult, and I don't know if you have ever taken sandwich programs or anything else, or people that are out there that have taken sandwich programs. Sandwich programs can be 3 weeks long or a month long, but the contact time does not decrease for someone who does a 4-month semester. It's a matter of contact time. So you need to understand the work that we did to improve contact time. And then on the issue of extra help, it is after the double track that we introduced the academic intervention programs. And those academic intervention programs ensure that when you and I went to school, it was the wealthy child's parent. Maybe my parent was wealthier than yours, I don't know. But my parent may have been able to afford extra lessons or studies, as we used to say, where the teacher will pull you after class and then do work for you. With the double track and the free SHS, government said every child must benefit from academic intervention or extra support. So government paid academic intervention to all teachers to allow for every child, the rich man's child and the poor kinky seller's child, to also have access to extra work. The rich man could buy past questions. Even people going to write Cambridge exams buy past questions. Whether they are any school or even in the universities, they buy past questions. The rich man children could buy past questions. What is wrong with government making those past questions available to all students so that they can better understand how the examinations are framed?
If they had more time, government wouldn't have.
But I just shown you that they even had more time
to buy those.
Let me also help you understand.
But just before we go on,
quickly,
we have 2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes, but I'll take 10 seconds. I don't mind.
Let me tell you, we'll take your 10 minutes.
Yes.
But then now, at least the current ministry is trying to review the process and find better ways of resolving those challenges that have come up. Is that not fair?
Nobody is saying that there shouldn't be a review. When the double track was introduced, the communication to Ghanaians were that it was going to take 5 to 7 years because there was infrastructure that needed to be built.
Right.
In any case, the current ministry or the current Minister of Education and the current government cannot reverse double track if the work had not been done for the infrastructure. So for them to say that they want to reverse double track is an indication that work has been done on the ground. Because how would you reverse it if work has not been done on the ground? It is evident that there was 1,132 infrastructure that needed to be built. By the end of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's term, 1,100 of the 1,132 had been built. So you could revert. So you need to look at the work that has gone in. I don't have an issue with Honorable Haruna Idrisu. He's a very good friend of mine. We talk often. I don't have an issue. What I have an issue with is technical people who probably are not feeding him with the right information for him to make such blanket, unfortunate statements. It is not, it's no knock on my very good friend.
So are you disputing the concerns of parents, the concerns of some
I am not disputing
about the policy that you introduced?
I am not disputing the concerns. Listen, even when people fly first class, they have concerns, right? So parents will have concerns, and they are very legitimate.
So what if the committee that has been set up to review this come up and say that, no, this double track system should be scrapped and, another proper or better, introduced?
There is no issue because the plan was to eliminate double track in 5 to 7 years. That 7 years is 2025. So a committee coming to say double track should be scrapped. They are only doing what President Akufo-Addo said we would do.
So what,
right?
I read somewhere that you're saying that it shouldn't be scrapped.
I didn't say it shouldn't be scrapped. I don't think you have read my article.
What were you saying then?
What I was saying is that there should be no claim that the double track negatively impacted academics. There should be no claim that the double track did not support access. But there should be no claim that infrastructure work was not done.
But that is what is being disputed about. There were some negatives to the double track, that there were issues with children not performing well. Parents had to get extra help for them. Aside that, there were issues about logistics and all that.
Mami, have you interrogated the data yourself?
Yes.
Have you interrogated
to
the
some
data?
extent.
So
and
look,
I'm also on the side of those
who
have practical
the data?
experience and stakeholders who are the parents, the teachers themselves, who are speaking about this. We even had headmistresses and head teachers of these schools, Wesley Girls Senior High School, St. Augustine's College, and the rest, Infantipim and the rest, complaining about not even having resources during this double track period.
Mamiesi, have you interrogated the data?
I am talking to you. We talked about data. We also talking about the issues that are being raised.
Mamiesi, I just asked you.
Why are you not responding to those issues?
We are responding to those issues.
No,
Nobody has said
there were no issues.
I didn't say there were no issues. Mamiesi, come on. This is simple English conversation we're having. If you have interrogated the data, you will not sit there and say that performance was bad.
Dr. Tandoh.
What? So tell me about the data that you have interrogated.
We know that some children were sleeping on floors. We know that some
see
children
where you are taking
were
the conversation.
But this is part of the double track. That brought the accompanying challenges. It was on the airways everywhere.
Listen, Mamiesi, let me at least
but
communicate.
You have 2 minutes.
I have 2 minutes. Let me communicate to the Ghanaians.
Yes.
Now, no one said that any intervention is perfect. No one said that. But what I want to tell you is that had it not been for the free SHS and its attendant double track, 1,274,000 Ghanaian children wouldn't have had access to education. That is a clear fact. Had it not been for the double track and its attendant interventions and the things that happened, the evidence, if Mamiesi has interrogated them, would show that performance has increased. We are not saying that there were no problems.
Dr. Tandoh, the problems are what I'm talking to you about. So we're talking about what happened during that period. And the education minister is telling you that these are some of the concerns we've come across.
Mamiesi,
so that is what they are.
Let's go back to what the education.
Have that time.
Hold on, wait. I would go. Wait. But the truth of the matter is that my closing remarks is that the statement by the education minister said that performance had been impacted negatively, and on the face of the data, on the evidence, it is clear that performance actually improved. Those are the things that we are interrogating. On the evidence or on the face of the data, it is clear that the infrastructure work was done. That is why a committee can work on ending the double track. On the evidence of the data, there is so much work that was done even in terms of digital intervention. On the evidence of the data, it is clear that contact hours improved. On the face of the data, it is clear that the right interventions were put in place. But it is also not it should not be disputed that the double track allowed some 1,274,000 children to gain access, whose child should have stayed home during that period. And it is absolutely not fair to those children who performed. Over that same period, Ghana has constantly topped WAEC awards, WAEC Excellence Awards, first place, second place, third place. The first year of free SHS students that we presented, out of the 465 in West Africa who got 8 A1s, 411, 83% were Ghanaian students from the free SHS. I think that we need to be able to tout what we are doing that is working.
All right.
And I will commend the minister to work on ensuring that they end that double track.
All right.
Because the infrastructure has been put in place.
Thank you so much for Dr. Tandoh, for being here on our desk. And